There's a fierce battle for the best cheap phones title, and who you pick comes down to how much you want to pay for your phone. The Google Pixel 7 delivers premium features in a sub-$500 phone, but it costs more than its predecessor. And with the Galaxy S54 also offering a top experience for $50 less, it's hard to deny that phones appeal to budget-minded shoppers. After testing multiple phones that cost less than $500, I believe that most shoppers can find everything they need in these lower-cost devices, whether you're looking for an affordable iPhone or an inexpensive Android handset. No matter the model, no one needs to spend upwards of $800 on a flagship device when you can easily find a handset that delivers comparable features while costing hundreds of dollars less. You'll need to make some trade-offs to get a cheap phone. Forget about the most powerful processors or versatile zoom cameras, but in many cases you'll find cameras that are good enough to get the job done and even big displays with adaptive refresh rates. And 5G connectivity is basically a given these days. To help you find the right model, we've listed the best Midrange phone 2024 and their key features, plus the things you need to consider to help you choose the best one for you. And as always, you can check pricing for any of these products in the description below. Like the video, comment, and don't forget to subscribe. Now let's get started. Number 6. Samsung Galaxy S54. As good as last year's Galaxy S53 was, the Galaxy S54 improves upon that mid-range device in all the critical areas for smartphone users. The main camera is now the same 50MP shooter that Samsung uses on the more expensive Galaxy S23, and that helps the Galaxy S54 take on the Google Pixel 6's impressive cameras. In head-to-head shots, the Galaxy S54 holds its own, even surpassing the output of the Pixel 6a in some cases, particularly when it comes to low-light shots. The 6.4-inch OLED panel is brighter than the Galaxy S53's screen, and it's as colorful as ever. Battery life is better, too, as the Galaxy S54 outperforms the average smartphone on our battery test by half an hour. Battery life improves even further when you turn off the Galaxy S54's adaptive refresh rate. We also like the colorful look of the Galaxy S54, particularly the awesome violet variant. We wish the Exynos 13A processor boosted performance more than it does, and as good as the Galaxy S54's display is, those bezels are very noticeable. Still, with the Galaxy S54 price holding at $449, this is an impressive phone that delivers plenty of value for bargain hunters. Number 5. Google Pixel 7. The Google Pixel 7 sees a $50 price hike from its predecessor. And more crucially, it costs $50 more than the Galaxy S54. But you can see how Google's justifying that price. The budget phone now has a bright display with a 90Hz refresh rate, and it supports wireless charging too. Even with those additions, it still costs less than $500, even though it runs on the same Tensor D2 chipset that powers the more expensive Pixel 7. The best change of all involves improved cameras, specifically the 64MP main shooter on the back of the phone. That's a larger sensor than what you get with the Pixel 6a, so the Pixel 7 thrives in low-light settings. It's a neck-and-neck competition with the Galaxy S54 as to which phone takes the better photos, but you won't be disappointed with the Pixel 7's efforts, particularly with tensor-powered tools like Magic Eraser and Photo Unblur at your disposal. If you absolutely want to spend the least amount of money for top features, the Galaxy S54 is the best cheap phone to get, but the Pixel 7 offers the most premium features for the money. Although with Google S/O looming, we may finally get a look at its successor in the Pixel 8a. Number 4. OnePlus 12R. The OnePlus 12R is the first R series phone from OnePlus to get a global release, and it's a welcome addition to the world of smartphones. The phone draws its design cues from the OnePlus 12 flagship, while scaling back some features for a lower price tag. For instance, the OnePlus 12R runs on last year's Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 chipset, but this isn't really a hardship. The Qualcomm Silicon delivers outstanding performance and long battery life, with the 12R lasting more than 18 hours on our battery test. Cameras don't perform as well as the ones on the Pixel 7a, so turn elsewhere if you want a low-cost camera phone. Also be aware the $499 model of the OnePlus 12R is not available in Europe. There you'll have to buy the more expensive 256GB version of the 12R, but if you can get your hands on the sub-$500 model, you'll find that the OnePlus 12R excels at performance and staying power. Two things that are good to have in any phone. Number 3. Nothing Phone 2. Who says that you have to sacrifice looks for a cheaper price? The Nothing Phone 2 still delivers the stylish, translucent look and helpful life interface found on the Nothing Phone 2, but for hundreds of dollars less. We're also impressed by the big, bright 6.7-inch display, which offers an adaptive refresh rate, as well as how long this phone lasted on our battery test. Nothing is giving this phone a global launch, though US shoppers will need to order it through the phone maker's developer program. With a price of $349, that phone may be worth tracking down even with some disappointing low-light camera performance and choppy graphics. The Nothing Phone 2 looks good enough to overcome those flaws, and it delivers in some other key areas like battery life, fast charging, and value. Even though the OnePlus 12R is the longest-lasting phone on our list, the Nothing Phone 2's time of 15 hours on our battery benchmark test is pretty impressive. Number 2, Google Pixel 6. At the Pixel 7, it may be here, but that doesn't mean the Pixel 6 has to go away. Google's keeping the phone around for $349, so you can still get an excellent if older devices, provided the 7 has new features, don't matter to you. Some Pixel 6 deals allow you to save even more on the phone. The Tensor G1 chipset inside the Pixel 6 adds to its appeal. That's the same silicon inside Google's more expensive Pixel 6 flagships. As a result, the same AI-powered tricks Google's flagship phone can pull off are available to the Pixel 6 too, including the photo editing magic eraser tool and on-device translation. Even as an older device, the Pixel 6 provides excellent photos that measure up well against other budget devices. Android OS support will run out in 2 years, so this phone won't have the shelf life of the Pixel 7a, but it's still a viable option among the best cheap phones. Number 1, Motorola Moto G Stylus 5G. Both the Moto 5G Stylus 5G 2023 and Galaxy S23 Ultra ship with a built-in stylus. The difference is that Motorola's phone costs $800 less than Samsung's flagship. And while the stylus that comes with the Moto 5G model isn't as feature-rich as Samsung's S Pen, it's still good for jotting down notes and editing photos more precisely. If you're looking for a way to boost your productivity on a budget, this year's edition of the Moto G Stylus 5G fits the bill. You'll get some inconsistent camera performance, and we wish Motorola provided more than one guaranteed Android OS update, but we were pleased with how long the Moto G 5G Stylus lasts on a charge. It's also a pretty slender design that's much easier to type on than a lot of today's phones. Be sure not to confuse this 5G-capable model with the regular and less expensive Moto G Stylus 2023 battery life is also impressive, reaching a time of 12 hours and 12 minutes in our testing.